Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial from MassiveSynthTutorials.com and ADSR. If you haven't gotten yourself subscribed to our YouTube channel and you want to stay up to date with all of our content we're putting out, you can at www.youtube.com/ADSR So this is part 3 of a tutorial series we've been doing this month about how to make, it's titled How to Make Bigger and Better Wobbles, but there's some great sound design advice in there and some effects advice and just some things you can do in the mix to make your sounds bigger and more interesting. So this is part 3, and we've already went through how to make a more interesting wobble using Massive, and this is the sound we created. So in part 2, we added some effects and third-party processing. We added EQ, sausage fattening, LFO tool. We messed around with WOW 2, and then some aux sends to pan some effects out wide. So this is the sound that we got. So part 3 is going to be about how to layer sounds to boost the presence and the loudness, or maybe the overall feel of your main sound that you have. So if I were making a progression using this maybe in a drop or some part of the song that called for a wobble, a bass breakdown, whatever it may be, I might start to think, okay, how can I layer some different sounds to make the main sound, that main wobble we just played, even bigger. So one thing I like doing with wobbles and basses is I'll add kind of like a sub wobble. It's a wobble that has the same LFO rates as my main wobble, but it may be pitched differently, and it's using different wavetables in Massive. So you can see here that this is using the PWM, and that's about it, and it's on the bend minus plus waveform. So we go to our main sound in Massive, and you can see that we're using all 3 oscillators. Are using crush waveform, grain 1, and a smooth square. So we're also using different filter types, daft to low pass. So what that's doing is it's creating a layer of a whole different type of sound. So if I just solo the sub wobble and play it, this is what it sounds like. And an important piece of information is the LFO tool I'm using on the sub wobble is the same as I'm using here. So we have the same sync. So that's the sound. I'll play it with the drums with the wobble we made in the first 2 tutorials, and then here's just a really basic generic wobble in the sub wobble section. So you can hear how there's more low-end presence, which is good when you're having a bass drop or something with wobbles. So next thing that I like doing, and this is just something you can do with any sound, lead sound pads, whatever it may be, is pulling up a different synth and then making a similar sound or similar patch in that synth. So in this, so you can see how it's titled FM8 Wobble. It's a wobble made in FM8, and all I did was I pulled up a preset, and then I went to the I went to the mod section, and I activated the first LFO to the pitch, and then just created a little wobble. So nothing too special. I put on a sausage fattener, and then again the same LFO tool, which is doing our sidechain compression that's on our wobble, that's called Wobble 303, and the sub wobble. So here is the wobble in FM8. And you can hear how it has a different timbre to the sound. That's because it's using FM synthesis, whereas Massive's using basically wavetable. So I like layering in that feel with using a few different types of synthesis to make an even bigger sound. So I'm going to mute the main wobble, and I'm going to play the sub wobble with the wobble that was made in FM8. So I mean that could be a pretty cool wobble on its own, but let me bring in the big wobble we made in Massive. So that's using, again, just a sub wobble that we kind of layered in, and then another one that's made in FM8. So I like using two different synths to get a good palette of sound. So the next synth I have is a synth made by Sonic Academy called Anna. Stands for Analog Noise Attack. It's a pretty cool synth if you haven't checked it out. It's great for a lot of different genres, but it has some really cool wavetables in there. It's a wavetable synth, much like Massive, and it's great for dubstep and big basses. So this I made a quick preset that sounds like whoa 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 whoa. So you hear this sound, and that doesn't have a heavy vowel or consonant presence or anything like that. So I'm using Anna to kind of supplement that to make a whole new sound, and then I'll mix it and blend it to taste. So here is the sound in Anna. And with this one, I used the LFO tool again, but I used a different setting, because what I wanted to do in the mix was I wanted to basically cut out the beginning of the whoa whoa whoa, so it comes in at the end. Otherwise, it would kind of conflict with our main wobbles here. So playing all three together, I'm gonna bring in the Anna wobble as I play it. So it's there, but it's subtle. So if I mute the main sound, you can hear it there. But again, you're not trying to. Well, when I use this trick, I'm not trying to overcompensate. I'm not trying to make a new sound. I'm just trying to supplement the cool sound I already have. So. And so one last thing that I might do is, if it's a bass drop or it's something where there's just wobbles, I want as big a sound as possible. So what I might do is I might render to, like this wobble, the Anna whoa whoa whoa, and the FM8 to audio, and then pan it. The reason why you render it to audio is you don't get any aliasing or any artifacts from just creating a new track and doubling and panning. It can sound kind of weird. So I'll do that real quick right now. So here is the wobble that was in FM8 as an audio track. And what I can do is just duplicate that track and then copy and paste it and pan it to the opposite side, and then I have this. Those are out hard left and right, and then I can turn them down a little bit so they're not louder than my main sound. And I'll do that real quick with the wobble that I pulled up in Sonic Academy Anna synth. Alright, So then we have, for our supporting wobbles made in different synths, this is what we have. So pretty cool sound on its own, and then I'll bring in the main sound that we made in the first two tutorials. And with this whoa 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 one, I might add a EQ and then take out some of the lows. So it's not conflicting with the sub, or it's not conflicting with the main wobble. And now I'll turn that down because it's going to be a little bit brighter sounding because I took out some of the lows. So to compensate for that EQ, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So one last thing, and then we're pretty much done with this tutorial series, is every synth, most synths should have an option for mono or stereo. So if you go in Logic and you go to Native Instruments and you pull up Massive, it'll say mono or stereo. Most people naturally bring up stereo. So with a bass though, with this main sound, I kept that stereo. With the sub, if I was doing a full production, I'd probably turn this into mono. I did with FM8. I think I pulled that up as mono, or maybe I didn't. Okay, I didn't with FM8. Gives you just the option of stereo. But when I rendered it to audio, I made it a mono track. And the reason you want to do that is, without getting too much into the mix side of things, is if you have just a bunch of stereo tracks, it's hard for the ear to focus on what you want to focus on. My main focus is sorry about that, I keep hitting solo. My main focus is this wobble. All the other stuff is just building it up. So that's in stereo. I don't want a lot of other things in stereo. Like your kick sound should be in mono because it just sounds bigger in mono. So this FM8 synth I pan left and right, I turn to mono, and I do the same thing with my whoa 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 one I made in Anna. And you see me right here. If you just click on mono and I play this, it's still a stereo signal. I have to actually go to any plugins I've put on it and change it so it's a stereo to mono, and then that gives you a true mono signal. So then we have with the mono wobbles panned wide. So it just leaves a little bit more space for my stereo signals to kind of come through in the mix. So this is the final sound that I've made in the last 3 parts of this tutorial series on how to make bigger and better wobbles. So cool. If you guys, hopefully you guys got some good information, some tips and tricks from this tutorial series. And thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. You can comment below. And yeah, subscribe. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely do that if you want to keep up to date on all the tutorial videos that we put out. We do it with Massive, FM8, Zebra, Reactor, Machine. There's a bunch of great information. So see you guys soon.